Hey everyone. I know it's Friday. The week is over, but as usual, I'm having these conversations in my head that I just feel like I need to share. So, how's everybody doing? How is the week? I feel like I have something to say for each and every type that's in this group, just to share all the learning I have done in the last 2 weeks. You might have noticed the question that I dropped in the group earlier about who's ever been invited to do something, to start something, say something, create something, be something, act away. And they felt like, oh, that is so not for me. Like their sacral said no, the invitation felt wrong and draining and depleting, but they never really forgot the invitation. It's kind of back there somewhere. And then years later, somebody else says something similar, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready now. Does that ever happen to anybody here? All right, that happened to me this year. I may have mentioned it before. I have been invited to work with groups and to speak more and to show up live. And I've like, when did the showing up live business started in around 2020 with the pandemic? And I was like, yeah, no, I have nothing to say. And that may still be the case. Some of you may have experienced that, but I was again invited by someone who said, come on and do a collab with me and let's see how it goes. And it was literally the invitation that I needed to hear again, but in a different way, which was like, let's go live, let's talk to more people, let's get together and support each other because you have stuff that I don't know about and similar, let's do this. And it spoke to what I needed. I needed a leg up, just an entranceway, an invitation that opened the door for me to feel comfortable doing lives. So I always knew that if I got that invitation the right way in my ear, that I was off to the races. Like I literally would have no blocks around speaking to groups, even when I don't see a group. Like Kristen's here somewhere and she'll pop on in a second, but I can do lives now. And that's just me sharing that sometimes you think that I'm waiting for an invitation, I'm waiting for something to respond to, and I don't see anything. I don't see any cues. I don't see anything out there. Nobody's given me anything to do. No one's asking me a question. Nothing feels good. And I want to say there's so many ways to manage that, but one of them is possibly to go and check in your past, in your future, in your possibly in your present even. Have you missed an invitation? Have you missed something to respond to? Are you listening with your human design ear? Right? So it's easy to say, I have nothing's going on, I'm not hearing it and seeing it, and not being invited. But then on the other hand, how focused and aware and attentive and observant and actively listening are you to see if there actually is something that you've missed? That's one thing. So I told my story to say that and put it out there and ask you if you guys have, oh, hey, more peeps. If you guys have an experience with that where you feel, I'm not getting anything, let me know if you can find something in your present or your past that you missed. All right. You know who you are out there that I may be talking to, right? I would love to know, is there anything that you missed that you think you can respond to or an invitation that energizes you that you can walk into now? And the other huge learning that I had this week is about projectors knowing when enough is enough. I am apparently still learning that after many years of my design. So I don't know if you guys noticed that in the past 2 weeks, I have been live more times than usual, right? Last week we talked a lot about, I think, what was it? What's that word that we use a lot? Deconditioning. We talked a lot about that. And then this week I went live in a friend's group because she invited me. Actually, she's a coach of mine. She invited me to come and be live in her group. And I was like, ooh, you don't have to tell me twice. So again, I went live 4 times in my group the week before, 4 times here. And to the point where Kristen, who I talk to on a regular basis, said to me, you sound burnt out. You sound tired. And what I appreciated about that is, oh my gosh, somebody else noticed that. And that was cool. And it said to me, yeah, you're right. You're doing too much. You're talking too much. Um, and you're making stuff up, right? You're not even coherent half the time. So I learned again that I need to keep relearning that lesson. When is enough enough? Yeah. Okay. Third thing I learned this week, and I didn't actually learn it this week, but as you know, I coach people to use human design, right? I'm not a big fan of gathering tons and tons of knowledge. There are people who like knowledge is like life to them. It's like breathing. And I've recognized that from my work. So I'll never stop them, right? My advice to them is, could you do both? Could you learn and could you actively pick something to work on? Pick something about your human design and use it somewhere during the day and come back and tell me. Can you do that at the same time? If they tell me they can't, so I give up. But I love teaching people how to observe other people in human design and use that other people with different designs and use that information to inform their relationships, right? So recently a manifestor said something that I feel like I knew, but again, I needed different words. They said, you know, manifestors are here to create a container, to create a structure, to bring something in new into the world and put it there so generators and projectors can walk into something that's already formed and do their thing. Generators can continue working on it and building it and turning it into a powerhouse thing, right? And projectors can walk in there and guide the generators. And the manifestor can go do what they do, which is go start something new, rest, and consult if we need you. It has been really fun to hear it said that way and then to actually observe a manifestor doing that, doing their thing, and also observe a generator, Kristen, who happens to be here, observe her learn her generator way and step into it and move into it and literally manifest things because she's listening to her sacral so much. And then to watch me as a projector do my thing, which is invitation after invitation, reflecting invitation, is it energizing, like living my strategy and watching how that works and seeing that I really do better when people invite me into a structure that's already, I don't know whether, excuse me, call that prefab, I don't know, already made. So it's amazing for me to be invited to go live in someone else's group because the structure is there, right? I may have not have executed it perfectly, but it felt good because I didn't have to create the thing. I, as a projector, walked into the thing and was able to offer my skills. So I'm sure I have other things to say, but that's what I wanted to say in terms of, well, who won the week? I did, because I got to do a bunch of stuff and I learned a lot from actively trying out my human design, right? When I did those calls, I met people I wouldn't have met if I didn't do the calls in another group. I met a generator who knows a lot about her design, but has never really been around a projector and observed a projector helping her to do her generator thing better. Like that was new to her. What? Every generator needs a projector? That was new and that was fun, right? So that's what I had to share with you guys. And if you have any comments about that, please drop it in the comments. This is how we learn from each other. Human design in action. What have you learned about yourself this week that you want to pass on? If you just learned about something that you just want to shout about and tell us how fabulous it was and the world needs to know it, drop it in the comments, right? That's why we're here, collabing, supporting each other. On that note, I want to invite, oh, hey, Kristen. Kristen, hi. I see your hand. Thank you. Hi, Stephen. I see you too. Kristen, let's
Hi.
go. What you got for me?
Oh, I was just gonna a couple of comments. One when you were talking about the generator who wasn't all that familiar with projector energy or working with projectors. I without your guidance and your groups, I could say that as a generator, it would probably have been easy to do that, to just study, to read, to learn about oneself.
Mhm.
And what has like been a really pleasant surprise of participating in all of the various groups and the lives and such is meeting with other types, and you can start to understand the energy of the different types if they're identified, and like what you're not going to go out in the world and see people like have it tattooed like I'm a 6'2" or I'm a 3'5", and so you
Exactly.
don't or I'm a projector, I'm a reflector, I'm a generator, I'm a manifesting generator. You don't get that. So it's a unique opportunity to engage with people in real time and to look at, perceive their energy. And I see your comment, Stephen. That's awesome.
He's silly. Stephen,
But
come on live, sister man. Come
he
on.
goes
Come on,
to.
girl. Put your earrings on and come on.
I'm
Oh my God, I'm in like
I'm
my
about to walk
t-shirt.
my
I'm
pooch.
I'm literally I'm mopping right now.
I mean,
Um,
look, it's Friday. What is that?
right?
Cash Friday? Do they still do that?
Yeah, they do. But anyway, just experiencing other types and like learning energies, because I'm noticing like I find myself playing a little game, like guessing maybe what people are and just like better understanding people. So I really love that dynamic. And as a person who, I had projectors in my life that I didn't even know were projectors, but now that I know their type, I know how to approach them. I know what will resonate with them. I know, you know, a little bit more. And I think that has been extremely beneficial and an unintended consequence or an unconscious consequence of participating in a
Right?
lot of these conversations. Yeah.
I know. And I did not know what I was missing, right? Because I said people wanted me to do groups forever ago. And I was like, I don't know enough and I don't know how to do whatever it is you're asking me to do, right? So I think I needed more time to kind of learn about me and learn about my clients, right? It doesn't make any sense for me to not be ahead of you a little bit, to be able to say why I think it's important for us to, collab and get together. I still don't have all the language for it, but I needed that time to do it so I could create that, um, what am I calling it? The collective conversations, right? To
Yeah.
create that so we could come together. I couldn't have done it 4 years ago, right?
Do you
And
have the
for you,
3740, Brigitte?
37, no,
Okay.
Channel of community. Yeah.
I must be around people who have it though. I don't know. There's might be other things in my chart that bring it out, Stephen.
Yeah, well, because what you just said just reminds me of my left angle cross of migration, and I know that that's not you, but
Right.
that's what like the migration's all about. It's let me be 10 steps ahead of the other person. That
Mhm.
way I can learn what I need to learn, but then bring it back and integrate it for everyone else.
Yep. I'm looking at my chart right now and trying to think where that is. Let me think on it. I have the 4426. Let's see, can we make that work? That's how
No.
I love to think. That's how I love to think of human design. How can I manipulate this to understand it? Um, keep talking. I'm going to
Or
invite
you could
Joe to
be like
join.
purpose fulfilled through the mind. That's the other thing too. Whatever your because you have your theme. I don't know what
Mhm.
your theme is, but then it's for purpose fulfilled through transformation, the mind, whatever the other ones are. Um, so the
Brigitte, we just
mind,
had this conversation yesterday about the
Remind me,
way that you
remind me.
when we were talking about the crosses, your like life purpose cross, and like how you bring that into the world, like through relationships and bonding or through manifesting in
Oh,
form.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
so
I
what
think
works
that's
for
what
Exactly.
Stephen is talking about.
exactly?
I
That's exactly what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
exactly. Yeah. Because Kristen ran both of our charts yesterday. And it was fun to see what I brought to her. And I gotta say, I'm just really loving working with some of the new clients that I have because they just run ahead and teach me things that I don't have time to learn, or I don't even have the inclination to learn. So when she put our charts together and started to say, yeah, I need this gate in a venture I'm having, I'm like, what? It was so fun
Yeah.
to watch that because she just discovered human design in August of last year. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
putting it together. Yeah. So listen, I'm trying to invite Joe in. Can you and Stephen talk amongst yourself for a second?
Yeah. Hi, Stephen.
Oh, you guys,
Oh,
did you guys meet in the group the last time?
we did.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Faces are
Stephen's
always better for me than names.
I don't know
I
what he's
will
up
give
to
you my
today.
face in a moment.
Oh, he's
Well,
putting on his face, maybe.
Are you getting your Zoom face ready?
no, I'm outside right now with my dog. We're gonna do a walk for her
Oh,
afternoon
that's
walk.
nice. Yeah,
Some
when I
of our
joined this call, I joined outside walking home with my kids from school.
I am actually in this garb because I'm about to do laundry. It's about to be laundry day, and I have big comforters and stuff to wash, and I love doing that, like, and those big things they have at the laundromat. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
actually excited because I'm gonna get to meet like new people out there. I'm one of those people who loves grocery shopping because I'm like, what you doing? What you looking at? Is that good? Is that, I'm one of those stupid people at the grocery store.
That's not stupid. That's awesome. I love when I run into people with that like outgoing energy where they, actually want to engage with people.
Oh my gosh, I have swapped recipes and spices and
Those are
kinds of
like those
things.
really like small gifts, if you're present and paying attention in the world, like these things happen. And if you're got your nose in your phone and you're not paying attention, I mean everybody's in their own situation in those moments, but I think
Mm.
it's beneficial for everybody at some point to
Hi,
push
Stephen.
themselves to be open.
Yes, it's true, and then the people who don't really want to engage, you have to be like, it's one of those days maybe for them or one of those
Uh-huh.
lives, right?
They send off the
And
energy, man. It's clear they don't want to be engaged.
yeah, and it's hi, Joe, and it's not personal. And
Yeah.
Stephen, I just want to say, don't go. Are you picking up poop? Dog poop?
No, no.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
trying to
because
keep my eye on my dog.
oh, yeah, you know what? I was gonna say that's a nice outdoor. Was it nighttime in Ohio?
No, but it's really
No.
cold and
Is it?
gloomy today. Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
I
Yesterday
just
was 80.
booked a month-long vacation to Tulum.
Oh, you did it.
Nice.
I did. I'm super nervous.
Why?
Also, like, because I've never been out of the country alone before, let alone out of the country with a dog before.
Oh, yeah, lots of learning coming your way. You're gonna be fine. I think you're gonna love it. I'm excited and a little bit jealous. Tulum sounds lovely.
I
It
agree.
needs an
All right,
adventure.
so yeah, it's an adventure for you. I need more adventures. So, because I have a fixed head, I constantly need open heads to flesh out an idea that I have. People don't understand this, but they say sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, you're joking. That's a thing. And they're like, how do you not know that that's a thing? Because I'm kind of locked into, right? So I'm thinking,
Because I
I
know
want to
what
be
I know, and that's it.
exactly. That's fixed head. I'm like, dude, I am dying to go live in another country. I'm waiting for an invitation to do that. And the weird thing is, I haven't heard the invitation for years. Where would I want to live? Where do I want to go? I heard about blue zones the other day from one of my clients, and that felt really good. And then nothing came of it. But I thought, okay, I'm getting closer, getting closer. And one of my clients said in her session the other day, yeah, I'm thinking of like just packing it up and going nomad like and stuff. And I'm like, what are you gonna do with your house? Oh, rent it. Or, we got into, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's stopping me from doing that? I'm thinking that's just what happens sometimes when you have that head that's just like, I will have this idea and I only have one way of thinking about doing it. right? So that's another learning. Anybody else
It's funny
experience that?
with some of this transit energy that I've been paying attention, like, each week I might look a little bit at that. And there's been all of this like buzzing about travel, invitations to travel coming, going and visiting people. And then I hear all of these scenarios where people are doing that. And it's like, gosh, that's so interesting.
Well,
how that
you know
Or
what,
works.
packing up
Kristen?
their kids. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That is some, like, in some regard, like a form of something to respond to if you're getting a lot of these messages about people traveling. Like,
Yeah.
that in essence is a response.
I know. I
Something
find
to
myself
respond
wanting to
to.
respond to it. And it's like, where do I need to travel? Who do I need to visit right now?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
those are the right questions, right? After you get
Yeah.
something to respond to.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love how you guys are working it. I would love to know, what was the question I asked in the group today? Oh yeah, what have you brushed off? What invitation are you accepting? What thing are you responding to that you've said hell yes to, and you're gonna go for it, right? So as generators, you're always getting things coming at you to respond to. Like, what this week did you say, okay, not all of that, but definitely this? And same for you, Stephen. I hear you responding to the invitation to get out of Dodge.
For
So,
me,
uh-huh.
not
Oh,
all of.
sorry. I'll get you in a minute, Stephen, okay?
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
For me, not all of that is. I don't care about other members of staff moaning about stuff if they're not going to tap into a solution. And the more pleas that I'm going for, I'm going to use that. The more pleas that I'm going for is, I'm informing you. I'm loving informing people at the moment. It's really
Yay!
I'm really embodying that. It makes me feel root chakra grounded. It makes me feel that grounded. And I feel sort of like, if you want to have a conversation about it, let's do it. And I find when I'm in that energy, I get left alone. And today, another thing that was really beautiful was sitting in the whole quiet energy. I asked for something and I didn't get it. And I let it go. And I was annoyed about it. And it was some support. And also it was around safeguarding as well at the job. And today, OMG, I had like the head teacher in my class. I had like 2 assistant head teachers in my class. I had the head teacher's PA in my class, all supporting me.
Awesome, Joe.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I asked for it, but I didn't go on about it. So I surrendered to it all. And it was like, I'm going to carry on doing my meditation. I'm going to carry on doing my human design. I'm going to carry on hanging out with you guys and all the other amazing people that helped me on my path of recovery and recovering myself and discovering myself and rediscovering myself. And yeah, it was a beautiful moment because I feel like I'm having this other experience while people are kind of like, ah! And don't get me wrong, my workplace is crazy, but I feel like I can acknowledge it, and at the same time, it's not killing me because I'm sitting in front of my computer screen right now doing my art. Those are the things that are sustaining me and making me feel absolutely excited. Is this stuff, is doing my art, is living. I'm living the dream as far as I'm concerned. I'm living the dream. I'm not getting quite paid as much as I'd like, but that's to come. That is to come. I do believe that is there. And in fact, what I got recently was, it's like the angels are like, find a way to let more money in. So, yeah.
Do you feel like
Wow.
that's a part of deconditioning? Like,
Yeah,
trusting abundance will come.
totally, Kristen. Totally. I'm going to
Yeah.
write that down. I like that.
Yes, write that down. Write that down because I want those things to drop here today. What pearls of wisdom for you do you have for people who are trying to live their design? That was excellent, Kristen.
Yeah,
Write
I mean,
that
the
down.
trust, that's like terrifying. And especially, I think my motivation is fear. And, you know, when that is the motivation, that's a hard one to put away. But if you can acknowledge it and say, you know
Mhm.
what, abundance is going to come. All I need to do is follow my strategy and authority and respond to the things that light me up and
Yeah.
trust that it's going to come.
Did
Listen,
you
I want
see
to do a
Joe
dance
just
right
now?
now. Yeah, I want
No, I don't.
to.
I hear her.
Oh my gosh, you'll have to go back and watch the replay right around now when she's over there going, hallelujah, like she's in church.
Yeah, and it's almost like, you know what? It's like a defiant attitude. Like, you know what? I'm going to
Mhm.
put it to the test. If this is
Mhm.
if this is real, if this is how it's going to be, then let's try it. What's the worst that could
Mhm.
happen? I'll be spinning my wheels
Absolutely.
doing that anyway.
This is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it takes a minute, right? Like you can hear someone say you trust the process, but it has to be repetition for a while. And that,
Uh-huh.
like you're telling your kids, just jump in the pool, you'll be fine. I will come get you, you know, whatever the parents do with their kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
try it. I promise you won't die. And eventually, after much repetition, they do it. And they're like, oh my God, that was amazing. I want to do that again. Right?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Until you trust it yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, these
it's like
parents.
getting on a roller coaster that's terrifying and you see it go upside down and flip and all that stuff and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." But then you see people like smiling and enjoying it and
Right.
all that and then you're like, "Well, I can't really die. They're not dying. They're having a good time."
Exactly. Right. And you do it and you're still here. Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
Stephen, I'm so sorry. What were you going to say? Do you still remember?
I think I remember some of it, but like
Okay.
this whole just sparked like a new thing in me too, with just even just like talking about trust
Mhm.
and like so trust for me is just being okay with not knowing.
Mm.
And I think that's what like sparked like the trip for Tulum as well, because like there were so many fears like holding me back. And like,
Mm.
okay, well, me, if fear wasn't a factor, what decision would I make? So I usually always
Mm.
What a
go
great question.
that
Mm.
that decision, even though it's hard for me.
That's a
Um,
good one.
yeah.
Wow.
And
I
well,
love
because too,
that.
like I have an innocence motivation. So if I'm attached to the outcome, like then I know that it's not for me if I have an agenda behind it. So I don't know where I was going with that, but that's what I felt led to speak.
That's so projector. I want you generators on the call to realize I am not alone. It's a projector thing.
It happens to generators too.
Does
I
it?
actually, I actually
Yes.
think that it,
Or
to me, sometimes I feel like I hear you about agenda, but I feel like we can almost get so caught up in that with, in my opinion, the attachment to selfishness. And I think selfishness has its place and being selfless has its place. And I feel like go in with whatever agenda. It's like this job, I went in with the agenda that I just want the money and I'm not being funny. I really am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Even though I know that I'm passing through, I'm actually enjoying it. It's like I'm getting the money and enjoying it. So I think that's okay as well to have an agenda, if I'm going to be honest with you. I just feel like let's not give ourselves a hard time about any motives of why we do things. Because I do feel like if we're doing the right thing, so to speak, like I know I love my meditation and I find it helps me come back to that still place where I can be more
Mhm.
patient with myself because I'm learning to
Mhm.
be more patient with myself. It's like, I think it's all right, whatever agenda you go in with, because I feel like continually bowing down to the heart wisdom, it's like that will come through anyway in the end. And it's like I can then be guided in the right way, so to speak, to use the word right. But it's all good. It's
It's
all
all
good.
good. What do you think,
oh,
Stephen?
yeah,
What do
I'm
you
just
think?
speaking in terms of like my motivation, like in the transference. So
Mm.
like innocence being my motivation and desire being my transference,
Oh,
desire
you know what
being,
you're, oh, I see where you're going. So
yeah,
it's just, we're right now at one of those juxtapositions where we're talking about advanced human design and just being out there in strategy and authority, right? And managing information versus just being in the moment. Right? And using what we know in the moment to inform it. Like in the collective collaboration, what's cool about it is because we do have these different levels of understanding that we're bringing in.
That's another thing
Right?
that you just reminded me of is
What?
I think when we were speaking about abundance earlier and just having like trusting that you'll be provided for, that a lot speaks to just being abundant in the moment and
Mhm.
realizing that in the moment we have everything that we need to survive.
Mhm. I think that's what Kristen was saying too. I mean, not Kristen, but when Joe said it's all good, right? And then you saying in the moment, it's just we have what we need, right? This is going to seem weird. It's one of those dropping in for me. Those two expressions actually sound like different ways of getting to the same place of just releasing and receiving. Anybody else or am I alone?
No. Definitely.
Yeah, Stephen?
I was just
Yeah.
going to say there's several ways to cross the pond.
Yeah, right? Like we all do it from where we are in that moment. What little bit can we do to just give over and be in a receptive mode, right? So
Definitely.
what I would love it, Kristen's popped off, but I'm going to ask her, whatever you guys feel like you want to drop into the comments of this live, because you guys said some gold. You really did today. So I hope I might go back and listen to it and grab it, or I might just say, people, you need to listen to the gold. But that's what I love about these conversations, because people have so much to offer from their human design, gene keys, wherever their meditation. You have so much to offer to help people move forward on their journey. But because we are hiding behind keyboards, hiding behind thumbs up, likes, and just, one or two sentences in the comments, we really aren't connecting. So I'm here to give a big ups to collabing and connecting, and to a new group member named Alicia, and she's all about that. And one of these days we're going to have her come on and teach us a little bit about that. To round it all out and end it, just reminding you guys, so now I don't have to send an email. I love this. Stephen, Joe, Kristen, reminding you that next Tuesday is our next collective conversations, right? And I'm just curious where you guys all are in your journey of human design. That's another thing. I'm writing that down too. I want to know what people mean by the word journey, not to be discussed here, but when they say I'm on the HD journey, I'm like, what does that mean to you? All right. Yes, Stephen, I see your mic off.
Oh, I thought when you said my name that you were prepping me up for something, so I turned it off.
I'm prepping you up maybe to tell us, are you excited to come to group next week? Like, are
That's
you?
what I was about to say. Yeah, I actually
Oh,
have it on my calendar with I put the reoccurrence on this time, so I
oh
don't miss
yeah, we
it.
missed you last time. Yeah, we missed you last time, but I'm happy. I would love it if you feel up to it. If, whatever comes up to you that you want to share with us, but share more about what you were talking about today, because the reason we have all the different levels in that group and everyone's invited is to help us grow and help and expose us to new things. So if you want to talk to us about what you were saying, right,
Yeah.
earlier, share that with us a little bit. And if you feel up to it, because by Tuesday you
Yeah.
might not feel like you're into it, us
Yeah, because I
projectors, right?
honestly just learned it like this week
Oh,
too, which
okay.
is I think warranted then for this conversation. Um, and it's just like the motivation that we're all assigned. Well, that comes with our chart.
Mm-hmm.
You have like one of 6 motivations
Mm-hmm.
behind your action, and your motivations, they actually help you see. I forget how they put it, but it's how you see where you be. And if you're in the wrong environment trying to see, you just
Yeah.
see through distortion. So for me, like
Okay.
my motivation is innocence. So I I forget the exact like phrase that they use for it, but it's basically being unattached to outcomes, to just innocently live through life with
Mhm.
zero, I don't want to say motivation because it seems like an oxymoron, but literally with like zero motivation, because I don't plan 5-year plans. I don't do goals or things like that. I have like little goals, but like I'm not one that plans even a week from now in what I'm doing, because my
Me
innocence
neither.
motivation, it just keeps me in the now, and that's all I'm ever worried about is the now. So
All right.
when
Oh,
I
well, I'm
have,
looking forward to it. Uh-huh.
yeah, and when I
So,
have, oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
Stephen, go on. I keep interrupting you, Paul. There's a mower out here distracting me. Sorry, go on.
I
If
was
I
just gonna
have,
say, desire is my transference. So like when I desire for things, so when I want a certain outcome to happen or whatnot, then that's when things get distorted for me, and all hell breaks loose basically. So
mm,
like the perfect example, Brigitte is like my desire when I wanted to help my brother and move him out to California. So instead of being in an innocence motivation, I had a desire for an outcome to happen with him moving in with me. And when that happened, it's like World War III broke loose. So that was one like key event in my life that was like, this is what happens when you have a motivation behind something that you want to accomplish something, you come
mm,
from the wrong place in doing it.
right. And at the time when that was happening, what was I saying to you?
I was
Did
like,
he
I'm
ask
not
you to do
wrong.
any of this? I, I was like, did that dude ask you to do any of this for him? Were you
Right.
invited?
Right. Yeah. And that was like a huge like aha moment. It's like, okay, now I can understand what it means to just be like an innocent bystander and just like
Yeah,
let whatever happen happen
it's not
without
easy
my
though.
need.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it's not easy. Especially when you see so
mm,
much that needs change.
I
It's like,
know.
well, then you take that on and it's like, well, no, who invited me to change it?
It's
No
true. You
one.
can have that mental conversation, right? But there is literal pain in the body. I've
Oh, there
experienced it. It
is.
feels like pain when you see someone going in a direction or not taking full advantage of their gifts and not using their potential, missing opportunities, stuff like that. It like hurts me and it puts pressure on my throat to interrupt them and say, "Excuse me, do you mind if I say something?"
Right. And it
Because I'm
hurts.
trying
It
to
does
relieve the
hurt.
pain in me.
I feel
What,
that
Stephen?
pain. Well,
Yeah.
I feel that pain. And what I learned just today, actually, right before this call, was if it hurts us, imagine the hurt that we could cause them by getting in the way
Hmm.
to try to intercede, to try and fix a problem that we weren't asked to fix. Like, because
Hmm.
then we hinder their growth, you know?
Yeah, that's a huge learning too. It's like you couldn't learn what you needed to learn before the right time, right?
Right.
So if we really live by that principle, things happen at the right time, right? We live by that principle and we want people to honor that for us, then it stands to reason and follows through that we would do that for others, even if it's given us, a hard time. And as projectors, it is hard. And I did experiment with asking someone if they needed my help yesterday, and they said yes. And of course, I couldn't stop talking because I had like 13,000 ideas for them. But what I appreciated was I was fully ready to be told no, because I've experimented with it so many times of opening my mouth before, to relieve my own pressure, that I know what the no feels like now. It doesn't feel great, but because I know it, I walk into it with full knowledge that I might hear that and I'm going to be okay. Right. So it's just this ongoing learning. And I think between all of us, I know I talk the most on here all the time, but between all of us, I think we shared some words of wisdom that somebody in the group might be interested in hearing, don't you think? So I appreciate you jumping on, Joe. I know that you're working, busy creating, but thanks for, accepting my invitation, responding to my invitation in the
No, no,
DMs.
this is
Jump on,
awesome.
girl. I'm on
It's
here today.
awesome. Because I've had a long week, and like giving up my time to so that the young people, they're grade 11, they're getting to the end of the high school bit. So I've been giving them some extra time. So for me, this feels like mummy's time sort of thing. Like, this is my time. Yeah.
And getting a chance to hang out with people that you've bonded with. We've started really bonding in that little group, no? I was just
Absolutely.
thinking, wow, I really look forward to seeing everybody every other
Me
week.
too.
And I
Me
miss you in
too.
the weeks that I'm not there.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, I love it.
It
I love
is.
it. I so look forward to it. So yeah, this is my healing time, so to speak. Not that I've been
Yeah.
terribly wounded, but who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
I have. I've been taken from, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It didn't feel vampirical or anything, but I have been. My energy has been given away, and I've
Yeah.
done
And
some
you're taking
MG
it
stuff.
back. Wow.
Yeah, definitely,
Strategy, I
definitely.
think strategy and authority, as simple as it is, really makes you be still. And like you said, if you're doing your waiting to respond strategy, you're not going to be giving away energy, right? So simple, but
Not without any. And also, to me, like mixing in some of the other stuff I'm learning, it's like, what's the benefit for me? I'm not saying I can't give stuff away, but I don't always have to without it
oh
not
yeah.
benefiting me. Like, I'm allowed for it to benefit me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing you learn when you get quiet and have a minute to think about response and waiting. It's like, wait a minute, I can wait until it benefits me because you're quiet now. So you have room to actually think about these things even beyond the strategy and authority, right?
And
You're
I
allowed
think
I
to
love
that's one
spin
of
human
the
design like nobody else. What was that, Stephen?
I was just going to say, Joe's point, I think that's actually one of the 6 motivations as well. I forget which one it is, but there's
Uh-huh.
the one motivation that there has to be a benefit for you in order for it to be a good for you. I forget which motivation it is, though.
I don't know, Joe. We'll have to get in preparation for your little talk on Tuesday, Stephen, that you're going to share with us. Everyone
Yes.
should go find out their motivation so that when you first of all describe what it is, right? What is it? Why should we care? And then if you said there's 6 of them, maybe you can give us a thumbnail on the
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
I do
So
like that. Why should we care?
wouldn't that be
Yeah.
fun? I know, right?
No, no,
So,
no. I like that because it's true. It's just like, I want to know, like, what is this? What are you talking
well,
about?
yeah. I mean, when I was volunteering in that other group this week, I kept thinking there are 2.6 thousand people in that group. And here's this human design person that's going live in their face every day. And my whole thought is they're like, why are you bothering us? Why do we have to see you every day? Why should I care about human design? Those questions kept rolling in my head the whole week. And I thought, well, there's something in it for me. So that's why I'm here. And one of these days, someone will bump into this live and go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Right. So that's lovely. So Stephen, depending on who's there on Tuesday, we're just going to divide up the time
Yeah.
and you'll take your section if you change your mind by Tuesday, that's okay too, because we can always slot it in if you have something more personal you
Of
want to talk
course.
about. But I would love to learn more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to share it.
Okay, don't feel any pressure though. If your energy doesn't feel like you're into it, you know me.
Oh,
Just,
no. That's the other. Yeah. I make commitments before I felt it out, but this feels good.
yeah, but you're emotional too, right? So,
So emotional.
right. So we have to, let me explain that to the new people because we have a lot of new people in our group. So if you are an emotional whatever, like Stephen is an emotional projector and Joe, you're not emotional, are you? Are you?
Sacral.
Sacral, right, okay. Anybody who has emotional written in their chart under their authority, the label is authority and then emotional would be the thing beside it, your label. It means that you make decisions in the moment, you feel things, you respond, you hear an invitation, it sounds great, but it's wise for you to take time to make sure that initial emotion is steady, right? Like tomorrow, you're not going to feel like, oh gosh, why did I commit to that? Because today,
Yeah.
right?
Spontaneous, me and spontaneity do not get along.
Yes. So that's why I'm giving you that out, because I
Yeah.
understand that that's how emotional people are. And I don't get, how do you say, wrapped up in the outcome when it comes to them, because I know that's how they are. And that's a good lesson for all of us.
And I have gate 55 too. So not only am I emotional, but I have to be in the mood to do it.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm not emotional. I just have gate 55 hanging out there all the time on its own. It just does whatever it wants. And I'm
Right.
like, so 5 minutes ago I was in the mood. Now I'm not. Oh, are you still want to do that thing? Because I'm in the mood again. It just,
Right.
or it can lock me down for weeks where I'm not in the mood for anything.
That's interesting you say that. Like I've got a form, they're like grade 9, middle, and like we're talking about illegal drugs and county lines and drug trafficking and children being kidnapped and them just being safe. And one kid went, Miss, when you were younger, was you in a gang? And someone went, an African girl went, stop asking me those stupid questions. And I was like, it's a valid question. It's all right. He can ask. It's like, you know, maybe I was. But I was like, no, I wasn't. I wasn't. I goes, to be honest with you, that's not really me. It's not really my thing. I'm not really cliquey. And I don't know if I think that's in my design. Like, not I think. I know that I need to have time and retreat. I know that for sure. But I don't
But
know if
why
that
is that?
also thing.
You know that's your,
Because
you
I
have a
need to
line
rebuild my
two,
energy.
but you're a line two, aren't you? Isn't there
I
a two
want
in your
myself to
profile?
have a form. Yeah, so that's normal to me. Like I wasn't never
Ah,
cliquey when I was younger. I would
yeah.
jump in and out of groups. I would jump in and out of groups, and I do that now. And
I think
actually,
Stephen has
that
that
works for
too.
me. That
Yeah.
Do you
really
have
What's
works.
your,
a line two?
yeah, I'm a 6'2". What are you, Joe?
Oh my god, I'm a 6'2".
Oh
Say
yeah, we're not. Yeah. I agree with her 100%.
Mhm.
We don't like being compared to others. And yeah, we just not a clicky person at all. Like clicks, I actually like barf in my
no.
mouth with.
And I surprise people all the time. I think they meet me and they think, yeah, she's saying all of that, and then I take a left. And it's just like, oh, I never thought of that. And I know that's in my chart, but it's really beautiful to know that's in my chart. Not that I ever curse myself about it or anything. But I love the fact that I will go left. Like all of a sudden people think like, yeah, she's okay. And I quite like that about myself. It works well with the hermit thing, because then it's like it doesn't matter if people reject me, because it's like, I'm happy with my own company. But I know when I need to be around people as well. And that's important, to absorb other people and them absorb stuff from me as well. So
Joe, I have a question for you. Like, did you ever experience, like, because as a role model, the 6'2", like being held to like a certain standard with like not realizing that you were being held to one, and then like almost being not outsided, but maybe outsided by the kids growing up because maybe people thought that we were like
definitely,
brown nosers or whatnot. But
definitely, like people, when they actually get talking to me, they're like, oh my god, you're so funny, you're so fun. But I think initially they think, yeah, she's up her own one.
right,
And yeah, I think I'm definitely not as sensitive about that anymore. Like today, I mean, this week, a kid said he hates me because I've got standards, basically, and because he doesn't get his own way in my classroom. He just doesn't get his own way. So he decided that I hate this teacher. And I was like, well, you can hate me in the internal exclusion room. Like, I just put him out. I just thought, you know what? Fuck off. I don't care. I don't care. I actually told him I don't care.
Teachers these days.
Oh, I didn't tell him to fuck off. I wish I could, but I did say I don't care. I had to, because it was not because I was showing off, but like I just wanted to remind him that I haven't got time. And the more I practice my human design, I'm cool. And you know what? I put him out so calmly, whereas before I'm like, get out! And like at the end of the lesson, he came back to the lesson, and then I was like, let's have a conversation. He's like, this conversation is not happening. And then I was like, well, then you failed this. No, miss, speak. And I was like, no. I was like, leave, go and have your lunch. It's okay. And I just gave him attention and just ended it. Whereas before, I would like suffering all that crap. It actually made me ill before. Made me ill. Literally, I have reactions on my skin when stuff affects me that much. And yeah, I promised myself I'm never, ever experiencing that again. And I'm mindful that my body is an indicator, and it's a communication device. My body is a communication device. So yeah, I weren't having any of it. And I find the better my boundaries are, the more well I am.
Would you like to know a little, a little piece of info, insight that I have from what you just said?
Go for it.
His response to you, like learning more about like HD, just knowing that people's response to us actually has nothing to do with us, that it's just their own internal triggers, which is just responding to the moment that they feel in the environment, which stems so much deeper and probably further than you, but you're just triggering it, but it actually has nothing to do with you.
Oh no, absolutely. He probably just needs a big hug. He needs some emotional attention from his guardians, from his nearest and dearest, and who knows what he's not getting, but something being fulfilled, that's for sure. You know what? Bless him. Bless him. Bless him.
Yeah.
Seriously. Bless his soul.
Wow, you guys, we could go. Yes, thank you. Or I really, this is just the dream thing for me, is to host a group where we help each other. This is my dream, right? Where we support each other through our experiences, not necessarily all of it human design related, but a lot of it starts with that conversation, right? What have I learned from my human design, and how have I taken it further and really used it to reflect on something going on in my life? How have I used it to understand another kid, right? Or the kid's home life, or something,
For sure.
you know?
Sure.
Such a beautiful thing. So, Stephen, you want to leave the people with, if fear wasn't a factor, what decision would you make? And then Joe, you wrote down what Kristen said earlier. Can you repeat that for us?
Yeah. That's a part of deconditioning, trusting abundance.
Yes. Yes, we're deconditioning all, even in this call, we've deconditioned, believe it or not. Deconditioning is happening to us all the time. Would you agree?
I felt a lot of it, like as we were speaking, just like released from my body, just as we're going through. So definitely in a good way, yeah. Like the deconditioning in the moment, like as whatever you just said, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I love this. I love this. I love this. So I hope more people get a chance to watch it. And yeah, so the comments I'd love you to drop, you guys, is actually in the group, because this recording is in the group right now. It's live. We're live streaming into the group. I think you were watching us before, right, Joe, before you jumped on?
Yeah.
So if you have time and you remember, because both of you, wait, Joe's a defined head, Stephen's an open head, right? So if either of you remember to go in and drop.
It won't be me.
I know. What am I going to have to do? Put a box through you and go, Stephen, do it now.
My open head will not.
I know it will not. And that's, again, just, it's not personal. It's just an open head, right?
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Everybody have a fabu weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday. And Joe, I haven't forgotten about your stories that are in your DMs. It's just been a hectic week, right? But I got you. I got you.
Whatever's given, it's all good. It's all good. It happens when it happens. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, Stephen?
I just
Lovely.
have one little just snippet, and that is like a part of deconditioning. What just came to me was we have to confess, like express, and get that part out of us, like decondition. Because if we never speak about it, then it just stays in us. You know what I mean? In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's why
Yes.
it feels so good to release it, because we're actually speaking about it.
Yes. There's power in speaking, isn't there? Our
Yes.
throat is the center of manifestation. So said, so it is.
Ooh, and I'm
So
getting
it
chills as you say.
is. Yes, right?
Yes,
So
queen.
thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Let's do the snaps. I haven't turned on my my Kristen reactions that she has every time she moves. But thank you for that. Loved it. Thank you for that, Joe. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday, 11 a.m. PST, Collective Conversations.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you, Stephen. Bye. Thank you, Joe. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephen.